Hey, we're cooking with gas here on the Jewcast.
Okay, careful using a phrase like that.
This trial is a travesty. It's a travesty of a mockery, of a sham, of a mockery, of a travesty, of two mockeries, of a sham.
Tradition!
Oh, shut up, Carl! Shut your goddamn Jew mouth! You people are why there's war in the Middle East!
Gekakken af een jam.
Nebbig.
Verpoepoepoe.
Vermischt.
Verkakt.
Vertut.
Verstonken.
Fartig.
Exactly.
You're what Grammy Hall would call a real Jew.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh my goodness, it's the big 3-0, the big 30th episode.
Episode 30.
The American Jew Podcast. The American Jew Podcast is moving out of our mother's basement and getting our own place on episode 30.
Finally.
Finally, it's been enough time. Well, happy 30th episode, Jordan. It's been so nice recording these episodes with you these last 30 weeks.
I have to agree. 30 weeks that we've been doing this.
I'm glad you agreed. It would have been a real dick move if you had opened up with, I feel differently about it. It's our 30th and our last episode. Take your Orthodox upbringing and shove it up your fucking Gentile loving girl ass.
Well, that's a very aggressive way to open the show.
I know. I'm glad we didn't go that way. Sorry. I'm in a little bit of a mood. But anyways.
Well, I got to say, we always try to open with some positive news, and it's hard to find it, but we found some.
I guess it could be viewed as positive.
Yeah.
It depends how you look at things.
There's going to be a rabbi on Fear the Walking Dead.
Yeah, I know. Finally, that's what we need. More Jewish representation on television. Because so far, we only play the parts. We aren't actually the parts.
Right. I just think it's nice that there's actually a place where we're not going to be fearing the Jews. We're fearing...
And apparently, this rabbi is going to be like a badass, and he's going to like take out some of the zombies.
Yeah.
I think, in Fear of the Walking Dead, they have a lot of different names. They don't like call them walkers. They always have different names, biters and stuff. So I think the rabbi's going to call them nebushes.
Oh, Fear the Walking Nebushes.
No, I don't know. I just made that up.
Fear the Walking Schmucks.
But that'll be nice to have a rabbi. I mean, on the regular Walking Dead, they have a priest. So now on Fear of the Walking Dead, they have a rabbi, and that's great. Maybe they need to have more rabbis on TV shows, but not the annoying kinds that are stopping you in the middle of the street and trying to get you to put on tefillin.
Right.
I'm sorry every time I have to see the look of sadness in their eyes when I shoot them down. And then there's always that one time, like, I'm like, oh, right, I'll do it. And then I immediately regret it.
So you fear the walking Lubavitch Jews. Really?
Lubavitch.
You would think that there might be more Jews in The Walking Dead.
Actually, I don't think there are any Walking Dead Jews. I mean, when they all walk together and all dressed in, like, these black garb in the middle of summer... swaying back and forth in prayers. I guess they could look like the Walking Dead.
No, I don't mean like as the zombies. I mean as the team of people that you're rooting for. How come there aren't more Jews? I mean, I know that.
I guess because they want people to root for them.
I mean, I know
wah, 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 and we're so hated. It's crazy. I think I probably said this before, but we make up 5% of the population, and we get about 80% of the hate.
We do get a lot of the hate.
That kind of, you know what? I don't want to think that, like, we're special, that we are the chosen people, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But the fact that we're so hated almost makes me think, like, maybe there is something to it. Because, like, when, like, if so many things are getting so many hate, then there must be, like, a reason for that hatred. Which gets to, I guess, something we could talk about going on this week in the world of Jewish hatred. A lot of flyers have been going up in at least 3 different states.
Seriously, some of these anti-Semites are really still living in the analog world.
I know. I mean, what the hell? Do you get a discount at Kinko's for hating on Jews with what you print up?
Right. I mean, if you're haggling over the price of the flyers, is that somewhat anti-productive to get for what your cause is?
Maybe. I don't know. But I got to wonder if the people at Kinko's are like, oh my God, more Jewish hate stuff. I mean, that's a lot of work to like go print the stuff up, design the flyer, then tape them up. I mean, I've tried it for comedy shows and I've given up halfway through. So that's how dedicated, like I've made the flyer and then like I posted a couple and then I'm like, oh, whatever. No one cares about this. But people that hate the Jews are really going hard on this. Let's see. In San Francisco. There were flyers put
saying
up
that the Jews instigated 9/11.
Oh, okay. We wanted to start 9/11 so our construction companies would reap the benefits of it or something.
I mean, yeah, they don't really tell you exactly why.
It's a big leap to go that first of all, 9/11 was a while ago. That's weird that like we're bringing this up. Like, I mean, I didn't see that deleted scene from the Loose Change documentary about 9/11, but okay, apparently the Jews were involved with 9/11 and flyers were going up around like San Francisco college campus or something.
Yeah. And supposedly, officials in San Francisco have said that the statements on these flyers are covered by free speech, so they're not even doing an investigation.
Oh, no investigation needed. Maybe the Jews were behind 9/11. I don't think we were behind it at all.
This crops up every few years, though. There was that whole thing about how saying that like the Jews knew that 9/11 was happening and called people that worked in the Trade Center to not go to work that day.
But only a Jews.
Yeah, that's like a whole conspiracy that I remember hearing about years ago.
Wow, that's a really interesting conspiracy. I mean, I don't think Jews we wouldn't do that. That's like a horrible. I mean, come on, come up with some better anti-Semitic statements than the Jews started 9/11. That's just ridiculous.
Right?
You're just hurting yourself with saying stuff like that. Who's going to take you seriously? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the Jews had anything to do with 9/11. At least I didn't. Personally. And then there was, in Chicago, they're saying the Jews are the 1%. Forget about male privilege, white male privilege.
Right.
It's Jewish male privilege, which I'm like, holy crap, I have the most privilege ever because I got the tall white guy Jewish privilege going on.
Straight white Jewish male. You're like the most hated man in America. And tall.
Tall is a big thing. I've discovered more and more. I actually have that on my dating profiles.
People hate tall people?
As what my jobs are is tall white male privilege. Well, people kind of like think that we're privileged. And it's a thing. Tall people, women all want to be with tall people. But anyways, yeah, Jews, we are the 1% of the 1%. Again, we only make up 5% of the whole population, but I'm glad we're killing it so hard. And God damn it, I wish I was the 1%. If there are any 1% Jews out there, help us out. We could use some funding on our podcast, and that funding literally would just be money for us to help us live our lives.
Well, yeah, this article, they're saying in Chicago that the flyers it has like a pyramid scheme type of imagery.
Right, and the Jews are on the top,
yeah.
And you could tell because they have the Star of David. And then on the bottom are the non-Jews, which they actually call Goyim.
Right.
Which is what we
and they're
call,
smaller.
What we call all of you behind your back.
And they're smaller. They're like smaller figures. And it says on the flyer, not to scale. Which I thought was pretty funny.
What a weird flyer,
right? I mean, usually Jews are shorter than the Goyim, so it's not to scale.
Okay, that the Jews are bigger, but I mean, Warren Buffett isn't a Jew. Bill Gates,
what they're saying,
not a Jew.
What they're saying is that even though Jews only make up a certain population, percentage of the population, but that 44% of those Jews are in the 1%.
Jeez.
That's what this article is saying.
How the hell did I fall on the other 36% of that? That really pisses me off, man.
I feel like this...
I just want to be a rich fucking Jew, dude. What the hell, man? I don't know. So apparently we are behind 9/11, and we made all this money from 9/11 that helped us be part of the 1%. And then in Brooklyn...
Yes, another flyer in
another anti-Jew flyer claiming
that all it says is that dirty, filthy, fucking cancer-filled Jews.
It didn't have the F word, though. We're cancer-filled Jews, apparently. At least that one's not really, like, accusing us of anything much. You know, like, that's not a bad accusation to have, like, oh, you Jews are stealing all the cancer.
Worthless fucking cancer-filled Jew.
Oh, it does have the F word.
Yeah, that's what it says.
Wow. Now I like it more. I like when people include the F word.
In Williamsburg.
In Williamsburg.
And they're saying that the person who made the flyer has sophistication and knowledge of editing software. So they're like a professional flyer maker.
Bullshit. I looked at that flyer. It doesn't seem like that hard to make. I make flyers all the time. They're very easy. I don't think anybody spent more than 5 minutes on the flyer. But actually, apparently, there's some truth to that flyer because apparently Ashkenazi Jews of European descent have a higher risk of cancer.
Of ovarian cancer.
Of ovarian cancer. We have the ovarian cancer in us, but I guess that gene could even pass from the males, is what I understood in the article.
Right. Well, the males are. It's a recessive gene within men, and if you don't know that you have it, you can pass it on.
So I heard like 1 in every 40 Ashkenazi Jewish woman of European descent has this ovarian cancer.
Has a higher rate of getting it. Yeah,
it's crazy. I guess does it have something to do with because that's like the vaginas of the Jewish women are the chosen vaginas, so they're extra special. So it's a higher risk of cancer because we're so holy and we have the radiation of fucking God.
Maybe there were too many Jewish women that were, banging goyim back in the day. That it was like, oh, you're going to try to not have Jewish kids? No, fuck you. We're going to give you ovarian cancer.
Oh, wow. That does sound like something the Old Testament God would totally do.
Right? It does.
That's right up his alley.
It's so specific.
It's funny because this week's Torah portion opens up with Moses saying that the Jews will be blessed and they'll be cursed.
Well, it's one or the other.
Oh, it's one or the other. It's not
Yeah.
like it won't be they'll be blessed and they'll be cursed.
If you follow the commandments, you will be blessed. If you don't, you will be cursed. That's what he's basically saying.
I guess we should know that already from everything that's happened.
I mean, there's no gray area.
This whole either you do what God says and you're blessed, or you don't do what He says and you're cursed.
Yeah, he says, "I place before you a blessing and a curse." It's like, would you like to see what's behind door number 1?
What's behind door number 3, Hashem?
Seriously, he says that they're going to build a temple. You can sacrifice animals anywhere, but not to eat the meat. If you're going to sacrifice the animals in the temple, then it's not to eat the meat.
Right. If you want to eat meat, if you got a craving for meat, you can do that. You could sacrifice the animals anywhere to eat the meat. But if you do it in the temple, then that's just for
right.
God.
And if you sacrifice these animals, you are not to eat the blood. So that's why we have the laws, the kosher laws. You have to drain.
That's why there are no Jewish vampires. Maybe that's why there aren't more Jews on The Walking Dead, because they kind of eat those zombies. He
talks about all the different kosher animals and fish and all the different birds you're allowed to eat.
For animals, they have to have split hooves and they have to chew their cud. Those are the 2 things that they have to be kosher for you to eat them. For fish, they have to have gills and scales. That's what they have to have. For birds, he just says you can't eat these birds.
Right.
Like, there's no, like, special thing. It's just like, these birds, don't even think about it. Other ones, whatever, just eat it. Like, I don't really care. What up with that?
What are the birds we're not allowed to eat?
We mentioned this, I think, on another episode.
Yeah.
I think it was something like, I think you can't eat, like, ravens or ostriches.
You're only allowed to eat the birds that taste like chicken.
Yeah, and so what else is God is claiming now? You know, we're getting closer to Israel. We're almost in Israel. He wants us to destroy any temples. You shall tear down their altars, smash their monuments, burn their adulterous trees with fire, cut down the graven images of their God, and destroy their name from that place. Jeez, God, like, are you insecure much? Like, who cares if there's some other ones around? Like, he's like, the first thing you got to do when you get there is get rid of all their fucking gods.
Yeah. Then they also talk about the charity. Like, you have to tithe to the priests, but really the money goes to the poor.
The money goes to the poor. Excuse me.
Yeah, and you can lend money to the poor, but if they don't pay it back within 7 years, they're good.
I like this 7-year thing. Maybe we need to get this involved with the whole fucking student loan crisis that's going on right now, that after 7 years, if you're not making like a shitload of money, you just get them all erased. I mean, I feel like Bernie Sanders should be invoking that as a Jew.
And then he goes on to talk about the pilgrimage festivals and Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkot.
Okay.
Where you're supposed to go, see and be seen before God. So basically the temple that you go to for the high holy days is basically just an opportunity to see and be seen. Make sure people see you, praying. Did you get good seats? That's the whole thing too. You know about the Passover and the Yom Kippur. Like, you have to buy tickets. It's like, I got 2 together. Who needs 2 together?
All right, people scalping them outside.
Yeah, scalping your Yom Kippur tickets.
What else? Is that it? Is that the whole? So charity. If there will be among you a needy person from one of your brothers in one of your cities, you shall not harden your heart. And you shall not close your hand from your needy brother. Rather, open your hand to him, and you shall lend him sufficient for his needs which he is lacking. You shall surely give him, and your heart shall not be grieved when you give to him. For because of this thing, God will bless you in all your work and in all your endeavors. My Venmo is at Jonathan Randall.
I just think it's interesting that if you don't pay it back within 7 years, you're absolved.
That's great. I think that's a great thing. I mean, maybe that's why so many people hate the Jews, because they're like, hey, you still owe us money. We don't give a crap of this after 7 years. Bull.
The statute of limitations has run out on the Jews.
Oh, by the way, when it comes to eating kashrus, kosher, you can't eat any insects. They're unclean.
Oh, insects are not kosher.
You can't eat any of them.
So no chocolate-covered grasshoppers for you.
You can't eat any of them. And it also talks about like mixing the milk and the meat. You can't do that either.
Oh, it does say that?
No, God really hated cheeseburgers.
No cheeseburgers.
Yeah, you shall not cook the kid in its mother's milk.
I don't know. That sounds...
Who's cooking meat and milk anyways?
I mean...
Is that a thing?
I don't know. That sounds delicious.
Cooking the meat in the milk?
I mean, not just milk, but like a creamy sauce.
You could have chicken and eggs. It doesn't say anything about chicken and eggs.
That's true. It doesn't say anything about chicken and eggs.
Ha! Gotcha!
You know, a chicken omelet is kosher, but a cheeseburger, not.
You can't, right? Cheeseburgers are much better, by the way. I guess because nobody wants to have chicken and eggs. Who has chicken and eggs?
Yeah, I've never had chicken. I've never had a chicken omelet.
So, anyways, love God. Do what God says. Don't do what he doesn't say. Whatever.
Or you might get ovarian cancer.
Well, this has been a good 30 weeks.
We hope that the rabbi on The Walking Dead ends up...
We hope he survives at least.
I hope he builds his
a
congregation.
3-episode arc.
Yeah, or an 18-episode arc. Give him a chai. Maybe
18 episodes.
Yeah, maybe it's gonna be the whole season. Be the first Jewish season of The Walking Dead.
I just hope there's a scene in it where like a bunch of zombies rush him and he goes, "Oy vey!" Well, anyways, we want to thank everybody who's been listening, everybody who follows us on social media, who likes our posts. If you have any questions, any comments, if you want to set us up with your daughter, your granddaughter, please email us at AmericanJewPodcast@gmail.com.
You can find us across all other media platforms at American Jew Pod, except on Twitter. We are... No, I fucked that up.
You fucked it up. We're American Jew Podcast on everything except for Twitter. We're American Jew Pod. Follow me, God damn it, on Instagram. And like everything I say, just because I'm a Jew, I'm at Jonathan Randall.
I am at Beatnik Nudnik on the gram, and you can follow me and like all of my non-kosher food posts. I just made some shrimps and lobster. Ooh, delicious.
Those are definitely not kosher.
I didn't cook it in
delicious.
I mean, I did coat the lobster in butter.
Oh my goodness!
So it's like it's like extra.
As long as it wasn't the butter made from another lobster, I think it's okay.
Oh, okay. So it's the same level of non-kosher.
Lobsters are the cockroaches of the sea.
That's what they say.
God, cockroaches are delicious. Hey, everybody, take it easy. Have a good week. Lila Tov.
Lila Tov.